Okay.
Practical strategy to pass the CMHCE in business schedule, guys. Are you struggling to find the time to prepare for the CSMHC? Yes, let me get somebody in the, yes, Evan is in the house. Uh, I have the perfect solution for you. We have the perfect solution for you. Join us for 1 hour presentations that will equip you with strategies, tips, and techniques to pass the NCMHCE while managing your hectic lifestyle. We are sharing valuable insights and proven methods to optimize your study time and maximize your chances of success. Best of all, the presentation is absolutely free, and we're gonna give it to everybody that is watching us. Don't let your business schedule hold you back from achieving your goals. Reserve your spot right now. You're inside. We closed down. We sold out, and unlock the secrets to passing the CSMHCE with ease. So beautiful. Today we have, remember, the NCMHC National Clinical Mental Health Counseling Examinations. The guest speaker today, our beautiful, almost LMAC, Dawn J. Jackson. She's wonderful. She's here. Kathy's here. Let me see who else is here. Christina is here, is in the house. Evelyn Mateo is in the house. And we're ready. This is your speaker today. This is Dr. Jorge Piña. This is from CURA100. We're going to get to 100 clinicians in New York City, Florida, New York, New Jersey. Also, we're going to get to 1,000 clinicians within the year. We have a place in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to put everything together. This is our non-physicians, independent provider associations getting all together as a super group and doing the best that we can do to get everybody licensed, to get everybody practicing using AI, the human ecology, to change and transform the way we are. So we're gonna give and respond answer and to the crisis of the mental health of today. Without further ado, I have Dawn J. Jackson with you. So meet Dawn J. Jackson, a versatile therapist, soul coach, and author. Dawn began her careers in filmmaking after graduating from Bard College. Yes. Later transitioning to psychology at Columbia University Teachers College. Whoa! Where she earns a master in counseling psychology in 2013. With a certificate in spiritual life coaching and advanced counseling, Dawn has served in public and private agencies, empowering women to move beyond survival mode. She's also a writer, like myself. I'm a poet, a singer, a mom of 3. I have 7. Okay. Catch her presentation on managing a business schedule while preparing for the NCMHCE on May 11 at 6 p.m. Today, Dawn J. Jackson is an inspirational, bridging creativity and compassion in her work and life. Give it up for her, guys.
Yes. Wow. Yes. What an intro. Thank you very much, Dr. Piña. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here to help you, give you some strategies to pass the NCMHCE exam. It's very, very long acronym. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen because I prepared a presentation for you all. And I will do that right now. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. Open system preferences. Okay. Share.
It's live. We have some difficulty. We're good.
Yeah, here we are. Do you see
have
it?
Let me open it up for you. Let me add to the stage.
Can you see it right now or no?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, very good. Okay. So I'm not sure if you can see my face too, but we're gonna
I can see your face. Let me see. You're right there. Exactly.
Yeah, very good. All right. So pass the NCMHCE exam on a busy schedule. The first thing that you need to know about the exam is the test format. So as you see, the test format consists of 11 counseling cases designed to evaluate your capability to make decisions. the passing score is 70. So this is important to note because you don't have to get every answer right. All you have to do is get 70% and you pass. Doesn't matter if you get a 71 or a 99, as long as you pass. The NCMHCE consists of 130 to 150 questions, usually about 143 questions, and the test is 4 hours and 15 minutes. Of the 143 multiple choice questions, you only have to answer 100 correct, and you're not penalized for wrong answers. So if you don't know the answer, take a wild educated guess and, to up your chances. The 6 areas that the exam covers is assessment, knowing your assessment tools, diagnoses, all the major diagnoses, treatment planning, meaning the best course of action for the client, counseling interventions such as CBT or psychoanalysis, ethical and legal standards, know all your ethics, and cultural competence. That's a big thing right now. So just knowing best practice and how to approach a client with cultural competence. And these are the areas of assessment and broken down into the percentage of what's on the test. So as you can see, intake, assessment, and diagnosis is the 25%, which has a high weight, and counseling skills and interventions as well. So knowing how to approach a problem is extremely important.
Dawn?
Yes?
We can only see your email. There's
Really?
Yeah, it's just your email. The link.
I can see everything. It's I can see everything. Everybody is watching what you're saying. Yes, and then, yeah. So you can continue, and then you can make questions at the end at any moment when she finishes. But the presentation is going perfect. It's live. So I'm also gonna repeat it to you. So we're gonna be in touch with Professor also Don. All right.
Okay, but can you guys see the slides? No, is that no?
Probably from the studio that they cannot see it.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll try to explain a little bit better so that because you can't see it, and I'll send the slide when we're done. So now I'm gonna move on to my story. So, as Dr. Piña told you, I'm a mother of 3, as a full-time job. And I started my study journey, November 1st, 2023. I remember because it was the day after Halloween, and I was thinking, okay, let me get through with Halloween for the kids, and then I can get onto my studying. My test date was December 2nd, which means I only had 1 month, 4 weeks. So I had to really get cracking. The first thing I did was I Googled how the percentage of people that fail the test. And I learned that 40 to 45% of people fail the test. Not the best thing to do, because then my mind was plagued with, oh my God, 40% fail, and I got myself in a failing mindset. And so the very first thing I want you all to do is put in your mind, I'm going to pass. Like, don't pay attention to the numbers of people that fail. Just pay attention to the 60% that do pass and put yourself in that bracket, because that's where it starts. So I had to make a commitment to myself. And this is what I did. I gathered my study materials. I have 5 recommended study materials that I have for you guys. One, there's passthecounselorexam.com. This is a former colleague of mine that she developed her own sort of test prep. It's very user-friendly, like very animated and fun.
Oh, Don, I understand now. What is it? We don't see the PowerPoint presentation. That's what he said, Christina? It doesn't move. Oh, okay. It doesn't move.
It's not moving. Do you think is it possible to maybe pull it up from your end?
On my ends, I cannot do it. Take away that page. Okay, so I can do it again. Because now I understand. Evelyn, it's in the place where we are, where everybody, because we're recorded, everybody's look beautiful. Look, this is gonna be forever. It's gonna be there. Kathy, also try to get in. Anybody that doesn't show up, I'm gonna remove them from the stage, and then when you're ready,
here it is. Now you guys can see it, right?
Let me see. Add to the stage. Now we can see it. Oh, thank
Christina,
you, Christina.
you can see me. I'm good.
Now it's good. Yeah, we can see the
Okay.
study materials.
Thank you. So this is important because you have a visual for the study materials. As I was saying,
Beautiful.
yes,
Go ahead. It's okay.
www.passthecounselingexam.com is a very fun, interactive, online training program that can help. What I will say about this particular training, cohort is that it's not as thorough as you need, because I know that after doing it, I was like, wait, I feel semi-prepared, but not all the way. So this is good if you want just like some extra help or just to get like an overall of the test. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to give you like all of it. Now, the next thing, mometrics.com. These people are like the, how do you say it? They're like the, the epitome of study material. So go with Mometrics. And they also have an online version of the book so that you can take the exam online the same way it'll be for the day of the test. So that's very, very good. I'd say go get that book, study that book as well. Also, on YouTube, I put a link here. There are many videos of counselors that offer tips. And so what I would do is play it in the background just while you're cleaning or cooking or just whatever, just to familiarize with yourself with the material. My advice is to immerse yourself in this. Like even if you only have 1 month, 6 weeks, 2 weeks, immerse yourself in it so that it's just in your psyche. Also, this book here, the practice exams, very, very important resource. This, I would say, is probably the most important book that you want to get, because it has practice tests, and in the back of the book there are answers to those tests. So you take the test, and the answers you get wrong, you want to go back and check them. And the thing about the test is that it gives you 2 answers that could be right, and usually it's separated by a very small distinct difference. So it's important to look at the answers you get wrong and see why it's the right answer or the wrong answer. So important. I'm going to stress that book. This one, can I make it bigger? Yep. NCMHCE practice questions, practice test and exam. Get it. That's the key. That's one of the keys. All right. So moving along, we're going to go to, I put together a little sample study plan for you as well. So as you can see, week 1, I say take a practice test to assess your strengths and weaknesses. Review the answer key to gain a full understanding of the concepts. Identify areas for improvement and create a study plan based on the results. Important, take those study tests because you'll know, what you need to work on and what you're good at. And so I'm gonna keep saying that because it's so important. Week 2, dedicate time to review foundational concepts and theories. Use study materials and resources to deepen your understanding of key content areas. Use materials such as the Mometrics because they offer videos and presentations to sort of solidify your learning. So very, very important. Week 3, take another practice test to gauge your progress and identify areas needing further review. Review the answer key again and adjust your study according to that. Continue practicing scenarios daily and review the answers. When I say take study tests, I'm not saying take the entire test because the entire test consists of like 11 cases. I say like do 1 or 2 cases a day, read it through, check the answers you got right and wrong, and I would review it. Even the answers that you sort of guessed, I would say go back and see why is that answer right. Another trick is writing, like writing in the books, because I'm sure that the research shows that the activity of like writing, the pen to paper connection sort of just helps solidify learning. So another tip. So week 4, you dive deeper into the content areas, continue taking practice tests, solidify your language and knowledge. Week 5, another, I spend that entire week just taking tests, and doing the exact same thing. And I say at the bottom, practice at least 1 scenario daily to review the answers to reinforce your understanding. If I had to say one thing, if I had a trick, that was the trick. and it was so helpful. So take those practice tests, get those books, and get to studying. So now I have time management tips. A very common question is, how long should I study? And the answer is study. It depends on your schedule. Like, it depends on how much time you have to offer. But I would say at least 1 to 2 hours a day. And that could be listening to a YouTube video. It could be, like even the counseling exam, listening to some of those lectures can be helpful. And make sure you make time, at least 1 hour, to go through the test, look at the answers you got correct, the ones you got wrong, and solidify that learning. Yeah. And so here, just to read a little bit off of the slide, I think it's important to highlight that you want to break tasks into manageable chunks. When I first started studying, I had the DSM, I had this big book, I had all this information. I was like, oh my God, it's too much. And it really is too much information. I was told when I was in school that I should study the DSM. And when I opened it and tried to study it, it was like, what? Like, it's just too much. So break it down into manageable chunks, what you can do, and you can really put your all in. Peer support. If you can get a study group, or you can get like one other person to study with, it's really helpful, because then you can kind of like, draw on each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think that's a good tactic. I unfortunately didn't have that option because I didn't have anybody else taking the test. It was just me. And so if I could do it again, that's what I would do. Now, here's some diagnosis you need to know. Very important to know. Major depressive disorder. I'm not going to read everything, but just overall, major depressive, generalized anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance use disorders. And I was surprised about this one, but there were several questions I remember on my exam that talked about substance use. So it's important to know what assessment tools work best. And there are several. There's some that work for teenagers, some that work for adults, some that addresses like a quick assessment. So know those. I put a star there. Bipolar disorders 1 and 2, know the differences. Schizophrenia, the spectrum, because there are different spectrums in schizophrenia. You should know the differences and know the differential diagnosis. That's really important. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to just stress that, because there are many, very many diagnoses that have similar attributes that show up the same way with very slight differences, and the test does test for that as well. So you want to know those differential diagnoses. Personality disorders, another big one on the test that I was surprised about. So you want to know all the different personality disorders. Neurodevelopmental disorders, another topic that was big, knowing ADHD, the ages of onset, treatment options, important. Eating disorders and adjustment disorders. What else you need to know? Crisis intervention, understanding crisis intervention, CBT, which, a lot of us have a good hold on. So it's, but it's always good to review. And family systems theory was also a shock for me, because I didn't expect to see so much on there as well. But yeah, knowing the different family systems theories, and some aspects of couples counseling. Cultural competence, also a big one. Just knowing how to treat the individual, according to their cultural background. I was shocked, and not only shocked, but it was hopeful, because it shows that they're really making effort to address cultural competence. So that's important. Legal and ethical standards, know your ethical responsibilities. Assessment and testing, knowing the tools, and the assessment tools, very important. And substance abuse treatment, which I mentioned earlier. Grief, then we have grief and loss counseling, interdisciplinary collaboration. So how to collaborate with different organizations understanding confidentiality, informed consent, and how that works also on the test. And I put a star to differential diagnosis. This was the most frustrating for me because it's like, why can't you just ask, like, why couldn't it be simple? But they want you to be able to distinguish, between the small changes and, the small differences in diagnosis. So know the subtleties, and how you can figure that out is by taking those practice tests and looking at the end, at the answers, which will tell you right there, it was not this answer because of la la la, and you'll get it. So very, very, very important. Exam strategies. So you want to familiarize yourself with the exam structure, which I kind of gave a brief outline in the beginning. And as you take these practice tests, you'll see exactly what it looks like, what they're looking for, and all that other stuff. Develop a systematic approach, because on the day of the test, you only have 4 hours and 22 minutes. Sounds like a lot of time, but it goes by so fast. So you want to really figure out, where you need the most time. Do I need more time reading? Do I need more time thinking? Do I need more time responding? And figure that out before you go in, in the text room, so that you can know how to approach it. And practice critical thinking. This is important because, this is what they want to test your capability as a counselor. And so you want to think like a counselor, imagine this person is really in front of you. How would you treat them? Follow your instincts, because usually our instincts are correct. What else would I say about that? And as thinking like a counselor, I would say have fun with it, right? Because, as counselors, we tend to be interested in our, in our clients, and this work is interesting, which is why we're all here. So just have fun with it. That's the advice I have for that. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So here, manage your time effectively, which what I talked about earlier. Just, make sure that you know where you need the most time. Everybody's different. Some people need more time reading, some people need more time thinking, answering. You know yourself better than anyone else. And test taking strategies, we got that. And stay calm and confident. Mindset is, I would say, 80% of it. If you go on there I got this, more than likely you're gonna get it. Believe in yourself. Approach each area with confidence in your abilities and training. Seek feedback and adjust. Learn from practice exams. I keep saying it. Practice exams. And you want to be flexible in your approach, just making adjustments based on your progress and performance. Again, everyone's different. I wouldn't compare what to what someone else knows, and their strengths and their their whatever they're working on. You're an individual, and you want to just really embrace that as you approach the test. And my last slide, I really breezed through this. And my last slide is, you got this. On the test day, make sure you get rest. Do not stay up all night cramming, because it's one of those things, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, and you want to just give your brain enough rest, so that while you're taking the test, you don't fall asleep, because it's a 4-hour test and you really need to be able to concentrate. I also think it's important to mention that you can't bring anything with you in the test room. So, you want to pack light. They don't even let you bring gum, because I was I can't bring gum, but no, you can't bring gum. Nothing, because they want to make sure that it's just you and yourself and you. Maybe your glasses. I think I was able to bring my glasses in. Eat a light breakfast, for obvious reasons. You don't want to be full. You don't want your stomach hurting. If you want in the morning, you can do a light review of trouble areas. I know I did that. I was okay, let me just make sure that I remember this one thing. And then, not even sure if that was on the test, but I think it's not a bad thing to do. You want to arrive early, right? Because you don't want to be in a fury in there, and great concentration. You want to relax, and at the end of it, really, really just have fun with it. If I were to be honest with you, that was really, what got me through it. I was okay, let me have fun with this. Because if you get into it, it could be kind of fun. Oh, wow, I have this person here. How can I help them? So that's my entire presentation. I breezed through it and I'm ready to take questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We love it. I believe we're clear because the most important is the strategy, someone who passed the test, who's been there. Also the books, the format of the test is really, really important. Let me get Katia in the house. We have Katia in the house, Evelyn Mateo, Cristina, and Dr. Piña with Don AJ. She's our expert of today. So guys, write out your questions. This is the moment to go about it. So, okay. So is the National Clinical Mental Counseling Examination. It's changed. What changed from the old one to the new one? Did you know something about it?
Yes. Well, so this one is more, okay, the old test would be more differential diagnosis, meaning you would have to rule out the answers, which and I think this test is a little bit easier because it just is a little bit more practical with these scenarios. It's more adaptable to counselors. Like you have a client, here's a scenario, and then there are questions that go along with that. Previously, it was like this client comes in and we want you to rule out, MDD, rule out, general anxiety. And I'm thankful I didn't have to do that because that seems like a little bit more confusing. I think so. So this is easy. This is definitely an easier exam.
Okay, before Evelyn or Christina, Kathy goes, what would be your recommendations in terms of the question banks? Because we know, for example, psychologists, doctors, social workers, I have coached a lot of doctors, a lot of professionals through the years. Mm-hmm. And something that we know that help a lot is the diagnostic text, is making questions or having questions almost every week, something like that. How was it for you, and which one do you recommend?
I like I said, Dr. Piña, the book. I have it right here, like this book right here. This book right here, like this book right here. To practice you because it gives you. Here's the thing: they don't change the format of the test, and they're testing for the same thing. So you have the 2022 to 23, all the questions, all the answers. So I would just, like I said, immerse yourself in it. I even have, look, this is like, even like, I was just be in the supermarket, like, all right, taking here, look. And I just want to show an example. So this is one that I did and I got 5 right. This was early in. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail the test. That is 5 out of 13, So I'm just showing you that it can be done. You just have to, take the test, look at the answers and look at why it's wrong, and you will get it. Honestly, this one I got, and no, this one was 6 wrong. This one was 5 right. So,
okay. And in terms of you're there, yes. It's the time you're in the test.
Yes.
The timing. How do you manage the timing? Because you said something about it. So can you explain a little bit more?
Well, the good news is that there's a timer on the screen, so you know how much time that you have available to take the test. So it'll tell you, it'll say 4 hours, 30 minutes, and you can time yourself. The time seems to get faster towards the end. So my advice is to do the first 2 and just see how long, how you're pacing yourself. And if you notice that, you using math, you can see how long it's taking you to get through this particular scenario. And then you can, pace yourself that way.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead. Continue.
I was going to say, but to be honest, I know that towards the end I was running out of time, and I was like, oh my God, so I had to kind of I had to skim through them, and I wish I didn't have to skim through them. But so I wish I would have paced myself a little bit more. I went a little bit faster in the beginning, but it worked out.
So many people, they finish the career, the master program. They do the 3,000 hours, and all of a sudden they are afraid to take the test. What is your recommendation now that you
that was me. So here's the thing. I told you that I decided I was going to take it November 1st, but 2 weeks prior to that, I called the NBCC, whatever. I called them listen, can I reschedule my test? Because I was just so afraid. Once I saw that 40% fail, I'm like, all right, that's going to be me. I called them and they were like, sorry, ma'am, you're not going to be able to take it over. I mean, unless you do the entire process over. So I had no choice. The thing in retrospect, I mean, even the fact that I'm sitting here, like talking to you guys about how I passed the test, it shows me that like I was afraid for nothing. Like you just gotta believe in yourself, number one, study the test, and you'll get it. And I had to switch my mindset to say, you know what, if 40% fail, 60% pass. And
but
why
I
not?
have 70% here. The passing score is 70%. Where's that
No,
coming
it
from?
is. No. That's the passing score. I'm saying 40 to 45% of people fail the test because that's what I Googled.
The first taker.
The test taker.
The first takers. The first time you go, it's
I don't know. I just looked up percentage of people that fail, and it said 45, and I was like, oh my god, that's me. I can't take it.
So I mean, 55% pass it because they have the half empty, the glass half empty.
Exactly.
So 55 or more will pass the test.
Exactly, and that's what you have to look at. Exactly. But I was definitely there, definitely afraid. Waited to the very, 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 very last minute because I was so intimidated by what was going to be on the test. Like I said, I thought, where's my DSM? I thought I was going to have to really study the DSM. And I was like, hell no. Like, how the heck? Who's going to do this? Nope. So thank God for these practice tests and, and for Momentrix because, man.
Perfect.
Man, oh man.
And also, so passing score is 70%, which is great. It means like you can have 70% of 40% of failings, 30% of questions fail.
Right.
So that's a good one, isn't it?
Yes, and you do not get penalized for wrong answers. You don't. You only get marked right for right answers. So if you do a wrong answer,
Okay. So I have the structure. This include assessment, diagnosis, treatment planning, counseling and interventions, ethical and legal standards, cultural competence.
Yes.
Which one is more important than the other? Which one you saw more question in the test that you remember?
Definitely assessment tools. You want to know what the best assessment tool is, and I would say you want to know your diagnosis, but not in the same way like what the symptoms are. You want to know best practices for the diagnosis. You want to know the way you would treat a diagnosis, if that makes sense. Not like, not like keyed up, anxious, weepy. Not, you don't want to know those things. You want to know like, okay, how would you treat this person that's showing up with this, with major depression.
Perfect. Go ahead.
And like the difference between like major depression and and schizophrenia, like because there are areas where they can appear the same. So differential diagnosis definitely something that you definitely want to again look into.
Even I say your story that learned 55% of people fail. You put the empty glass, so it's
that's what I'm saying. No, because I wanted to let people know that was me. Like that was in my mind. That's what I Googled first. Like, okay, how many people fail? Okay, I'm gonna fail too. Oh well. But once they told me, look, you can't take it over, this is it. I had no choice. So.
And you break it for us in 5 sessions, 5 weeks. How many, when you decided I'm gonna take the test, I pay the test, I register for it, I have my dates, how many weeks took you to go and pass it?
4 weeks. It was November 1st. It was November 1st to December 2nd. Oh yes.
Oh really? 4 weeks?
4 weeks.
Oh my God. That's good for you guys, Evelyn, Christina, Katia. 4 weeks following the plan together.
Yeah.
So repeat the plans once again. The 4 weeks. What happened there? Give us a picture. So
for the first week, you want to take a test. The first thing you want to do is take a practice test to see where you fare. And even if you get everything wrong, don't get discouraged, because it just shows you what you need to learn. So with the information that you get from the practice test, then you say, okay, this is where I need to like strengthen my knowledge. So maybe it's, you know, I need to know more. For me, it was like I need to know more about family systems and more about, you know, couples counseling, because I just hadn't studied that, and addiction counseling, because they don't teach you all these things in our programs. You know, they really don't. So I had to go and again in those areas and then learn them. But it's like I said, it's not. It becomes repetitive when you keep taking the test.
Okay,
so like,
I say, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, for like, you know, the CAGE example, like the CAGE assessment for alcoholism, you know, like, so they'll ask you, for example, like, you know, what is the fastest way to assess for alcoholism? And then, you know, if I'm right, I could be wrong because it's been since December, but I believe it's CAGE, because there are only 4 questions to assess whether someone's, you know, dealing with alcoholism. And there are different scales for children, different scales for adults. So it's important to know the differences in them. And they're so similar. So you're like, oh, but it's and, you know, like there are different ways that you can trick yourself. You know, I like to use like acronyms, and, you know, I think everyone should choose their own acronym, because it will, you know, it'll kind of resonate with you. But you know, CAGE was easy for me, because CAGE is like, okay, it's just 4. So I was like, all right, so I know that's a quick one. But it's not the one that you use for children or teenagers. So I think that one is called MAST. Don't quote me. But again, so it's things like that. Like, you want to know what CAGE is. You want to know what MAST is. You know, you want to know personality assessments. Like, what would you use to assess the personality? Like using the MMPI, which is something else that they don't really teach you in graduate school, but will teach you in this book with thorough answers. Yes.
Perfect. So you also have some strategies right here. So let me just check it out. Let me get everybody as they get in. So familiarize yourself with the exam structure.
Yes.
Develop a systematic approach. Practice critical thinking. Those 3 strategies. Manage your time effectively. Utilize test-taking strategies.
Yes.
Staying calm and confident. But you made an emphasis on practical critical thinking. Why?
Well, because again, you know, we're counselors for a reason, because, you know, we have an instinct to want to help people. And I think that as a counselor, your instinct is what usually drives you in a session. That's what, you know, that's what makes us all good. So when I say practice critical thinking, I mean, think on your toes as though you were a counselor. Some of the questions, a lot of the questions, you're able to answer that way. The ones that are not as technical, sort of like, you know, best practice. How would I treat this client sitting in front of me if they're presenting with this particular instance? So that's why I say that one.
And the reality from practicing and the test, can you answer the way you do your practice in your internships and in your practice itself? How
listen, the only difference is that we don't have access. I didn't have as much access to the assessment tools, but everything else is just how you would treat a client in front of you, right? Am I making sense? It's just, it's just that you don't have, like, I may not have the MMPI, or I may not have the CAGE assessment, or I may not have, you know, whatever couples assessment that they're referring to in the book, but the core of it, you know, the actual treatment, the methodology that you would use is pretty much the same. So you want to trust your instinct in that way, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was thinking, like, you know, I'm trying to think back to the test. Like, there was something, you know, where CBT came up, and so like they'll ask you, they'll ask you something like, you know, who, you know, what did Beck mean when he talked about, what, God, I don't want, you know, because Andrew Beck was the guy that was the father of CBT. So they'll say, like, what did Beck mean when he mentioned thought stopping, you know, and you know what I mean? So
without saying any content of the test, we can go in terms of defining the personality of the test. If it's Beck, if it's Freud, things like that, that you need to know that who is who, because they might say, oh, Freud invented the cognitive whatever, and it's not
Right.
Freud, it's Beck.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't do that. They're not going to trick you like that.
They wouldn't do that. Okay.
No, they won't do that. No. But if you don't know who Beck is, you may not know, like, okay, he's associated with cognitive therapy. Yeah. Which is a little, that's a little bit frustrating, because like, it's like, oh, you know, like it's hard to go through everything and everybody, right? You know, I do know that Don Jackson, same name as me a little bit, created family therapy, like was one of the leaders. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm looking for that. That wasn't on the test. But I mean, some of these names are like, what? And if you get the Mometrics book, the big yellow one, it's going to be packed with information. You don't really need all that information. But again, to peruse it. And remember, passing score is 70. You get a 71, the board knows a P. You get a 99, it's still a P. So
exactly. So Christina, any question? Any you're gonna take the test soon. So
yeah.
When is your test?
I have to schedule it, but it will be soon. So this gives me a lot of hope, because I also too worry about numbers and how many times am I going to have to take the test. So I have to know that might happen, and just keep taking the test. So
no, not yet. It hasn't happened yet. So why would you have to know that happened? No.
Yeah. So those are thoughts that I have to like get them out, you know, and know that when I do schedule the test, it's that I will pass the test.
I'm gonna pass it, because I'm giving you the secrets.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you get this book and you just start taking the test, and and you haven't even scheduled yet, so you have more time than me. You can go through it. You can master all this, because they don't change the test. These people are lazy. They don't change it. Well, they recycle questions. Probably change a name, probably change one thing, but it's the same information. You'll see as you take it.
Okay. Yeah. So my biggest worry for me is just getting discouraged. But you know, I think I'll follow along a lot of the stuff that you said. Following the schedule, the weekly, the schedule, week 1, week 2, and stick to a strict format for myself. Knowing that I definitely need to stay organized in order to pass this exam.
For sure. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with going in the test feeling confident, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't pass, then you deal with that at that particular time.
Right.
But if you go in confident, then more than likely that energy will just make you pass the test.
I also like that you said have fun with it, because it's something that we never do when we take an exam. So that's definitely a takeaway for me. Have fun with it. Treat it as if I'm treating a client in front of me. And I know that'll help me a lot. Thank you.
Perfect.
Good luck. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Katia, Evelyn, any question? You have the expert. This is the moment. All right. Katia, what you take from today?
I needed to hear some intake on somebody that took the exam like myself, but I didn't pass. So I'm not going to take it again. I'm not ready yet. I know that already. I know I'm not ready. I just took it in February. I have to wait till 90 days anyway, so still got to wait. But I'm not preparing for it anytime soon. So
at any moment, I believe we have Dawn. She's a coach. She's like a psychotherapist. If you need like private session with her, she can follow you week by week. This is the best way to do it. You know, I used to do it in the Lincoln Hospital with doctors. So we go like the guy who passed the test. We got like a weekly sessions where they can go and speak to them. And some of them did it for free, pro bono. Some of them, charge a little fees for doing that. But it's something that you can do. Okay, I'm gonna take the test in 4 weeks. I have it. Hello, Dawn. Help me out on a weekly basis. So
the book, I'm gonna get the book. I'm definitely gonna get that. I think that will give me a boost to take it again more, sooner than I thought. I think I will look into the 2024-25. I think that's probably the new one. I might look into that and study. Yeah, I think that'll boost. Yeah, that's the motivation I needed. Some kind of study guide besides the ones that I have. So,
May I ask you what you used? Like, what was your process prior?
I use counseling. I use counselingexam.com. That's about it. And I took the workshop for the licensed mental health counseling, the workshop that they had. I took that. I paid the 200 plus, and I took that, and I still didn't pass. So,
what did you find the most challenging on the test?
When I took the workshop, it was easy. It made it seem like the exam was just so straightforward. But when you take the exam, it's nothing like that workshop, that the mental health that I took at all. So, no.
All right. Well, like I
I
said,
think.
what were you gonna say?
No, like I said, the exam wasn't as straightforward as the workshop. It was so simple. The answers were so simple. Like I could do well, then I'm gonna do well on the exam, but it was nothing like the workshop. And that's why I walked in there with like, I don't know, it's like, how do I say this? They just threw me to the wolves on that exam. And that was tough. The exams were the answers were really tricky, and it was tough for me to answer. So I think that was difficult for me.
Yeah. Had you used any practice exams prior to taking the test?
Just the counseling exam, that's it. And that workshop, that's it. I didn't use any book or anything like you. So that's why I said maybe the booklet, I'll add that on as another study guide too, to boost my score.
Practice the test, because I did the same thing. I got the counseling, .com, and it gives you good general information, but they're not telling you what's exactly on the test. And so, like, I think that if you do that, if you just practice the test, that you'll pass it, because you have to know what you're getting into before you get into it, and then you know where it is. So I want you to feel encouraged. 90 days. No, February, March, April. I don't know. It's about 90 days.
Still didn't make it. I still have a few weeks left to get 90 days. So
you have a few weeks to study, because you got this. I think.
But I'm not gonna have to.
It sounds like you weren't prepared for what was going to be on the test. So you went in and you were like, "Oh, what?" But that's why I wish I'm glad I got this, man. Because I would have studied the DSM and I would have known all this stuff, but what do you do with it? Because it's like, that's not what the test is looking for. The test is looking for your ability to apply the knowledge that you have, and not all of it is necessary.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Don, you passed the test. What is the future for you? What are you thinking to do now?
Oh my God, the future is helping other people pass it. No, well, I just put the paperwork in for my license, and so I'm waiting for that paper to come in the mail. And it's crazy because, like, I just think years back where I was like, okay, there was times where I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm probably not gonna get it. Like, whatever. I'm gonna get a job where I don't even need to get a license. I could just, be a case manager or whatever. So it feels good to finally be able to get that piece of paper that seemed like it was so hard to get. But it's important to know, like, I would look around like, oh my God, that person got their license. She got her license. They got their license. Like, why not me? You know what I mean? And it's like, we often do that to ourselves. We often look around, see everybody else doing what they're supposed to be doing. And like, we don't think that it's for us, but it is. And it really is.
Perfect. We're very happy with the presentation, and I sent already the PowerPoint presentations to everybody, to CURA100, to the group exam right there. Also, this is recording. As soon as I finish, I will send it to you so that you can.
I plan to
take. You have a question, Evan? Evan, go ahead.
Extra time in the test.
What did you say?
I plan to take extra time for the test because for me it's too slow. The reading is too much.
Okay. Are you gonna get test accommodations?
Yes.
Okay. That works. Well, that's good. I mean, that's another thing to do. Like, if you feel like you need more time, it's always good to make those arrangements for yourself as well. But even
4 hours.
4 hours and 4 hours 22 minutes.
For you, do you think it was okay, or you needed more, or you thought that you were too fast? Too fast?
No. I could have used an extra 20 minutes, definitely, because you have to read the scenario, right? You want to read the scenario, and if you're thorough, and you're overthinker like me, so don't overthink. You kind of want to read it more than once. Like, okay, what's being said. You read it for the overview, then you want to read and see, like, okay, what's actually being said here. So I do think that I could have used 10 more minutes. Or I could have just done less overthinking.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
because it seemed like a lot of time, and I was like, whoa, 4 hours. Like, I'm chilling like 4 hours. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, 30 minutes. And I think maybe my last two was 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, it takes about 10 minutes to really read through the scenario. And then it maybe takes about 1 to 2 minutes to answer. And then you also, if you don't know the answer, it takes some time to think like, oh, what's the best answer? Like, so yeah, you'll use every bit of that 422. I think I was the second person done. Yes, and they tell you immediately. They fold the
as
paper.
soon as you get out, you pass, you fail right there.
They tell you right then and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Dawn. Remember, Dawn is part of our team. If you need her, call her, test her. Also, she's a coach. If you need her personally, maybe the investment in person, talk to her about it. And thank you to Christina. Thank you to Evelyn, Katia, Dawn. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to continue helping people and doing the best so that we can give a robust response to the crisis of today. All right? So.
Yeah. And I want to say one more thing before I go. I just think it's so, like, these testing in general is a very European concept, like, and the language they use, you know what I mean? So what makes me more passionate about doing this for us is that, we need our faces in agencies. We need our faces to deal with clients like us, right? And the test can be a barrier. That's unnecessary. It's not written with us in mind. So,
Dr. Reich is here. Dr. Reich is here. Say hello to the guys. Say hello to everybody before we finish. So, sit down, because we're recording. We're recording, and this is gonna go global.
Hello.
I got him some water.
Cool.
Yes.
So I just want us to be encouraged knowing that, the test is not made for us. So it doesn't mean that you're not intelligent. It doesn't mean that you're not a good counselor. It just means that we just speak different languages. So all we gotta do is learn to speak their language, pass the test, and then you do it your way. And that's how I'm gonna end it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We have 52 minutes. I'm gonna go right away, check it out. We have it on, it's getting to 800,000 people right now because we have Corona Creativo, 82,000 people. Then it's in YouTube, it's in Twitter. I think it's LinkedIn. So it's in very places so that people can see it, can check it out, can ask questions. So as soon as we finish, I will send the copy so you can have it and check it out and see it and listen more and more and more until you get it in your brain and you go ready to pass the test. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone. Call me if you need me. We got this.
Evelyn,
thank you.
So let's say